This is the second Sunday in Easter, and I'll try not to be as miserable as I was on the last one. So, when you walk through a storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. That's the opening line, of course, of You'll Never Walk Alone, the song created in the imaginations of Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein for their great musical Carousel. I've just listened to Michael Ball singing this song, which he's been inspired to record by Captain Thomas Moore, who is approaching his 100th birthday. As we all know, the efforts of this quiet, polite and modest man have resulted in him making millions for the NHS and in the nation taking him to their heart. Songs and music connect us with people, places, events, past and present, and they make the world a much smaller place, especially when the speed and intimacy of technology can send a song or message anywhere in our world at just the touch of a button. This makes it really incredible that the Easter message spread across the world and did not get lost in the other events which followed over the next 2,000 years. In the story of St. Thomas, which is the reading for this Sunday and is found in St. John's Gospel, you get a real sense of the full mystery of the risen Christ. We're told by John that Jesus suddenly appears in a locked room and stands before his disciples, who are naturally afraid when they see him. Jesus is patient with their fear as he stands there and offers them the peace of God and then blesses them. Thomas is the disciple who stands in that room and who doubts. Thomas who needs to see and then touch Christ's wounds before he is able to believe. Thomas for me is the disciple who is most like Christians throughout the centuries, and especially for all who have found their faith tested during the storms of life. It is Thomas who mirrors our doubts and uncertainties. It is Thomas who speaks out our thoughts out loud. And then it is Thomas who, more than anyone else, expresses his faith and his certainty when he looks up into the eyes of Jesus Christ and says, "My Lord and my God." With these 5 words, a miracle occurs. The disciples shed their fear and doubt as they're filled with the Holy Spirit, and they are able to walk through the locked doors of uncertainty and to take the gospel, the good news, out into the world. In their journeys, they will encounter trouble and tribulation, humiliation and death, but their faith will remain to be passed on to others throughout the generations, and eventually down to us here, now, today, in April 2020. Technology has enabled Michael Ball's version of You'll Never Walk Alone to race around the world and to raise still more money for Captain Tom's remarkable fundraising effort. Funds that are needed right now, vital funds. Who knows? We have a St. Thomas's Hospital in London. We may end up with a Captain Tom's Hospital. Wouldn't that be something? The Easter message spread across the world more slowly, but then sometimes we need time to think, time to let things sink into us. Belief and faith often need time to become a part of us and a way of life. Thomas's story is a story very much for today, a story which helps to recharge and engage us, enthrall and mystify us, a story we can rely on to help us through the uncertain days ahead. Thomas's story is not like our modern technology. It won't suddenly die on us, crash or lose its signal and strength. Thomas's story is for all time because it is a human story. It's about relationships, about encounter, trust and hope. And it finds echoes in the stories that we read about in the media today, in Captain Tom's story, and in those of the other ordinary but extraordinary people who surround us and who make these times bearable. So, thank you, Captain Tom Moore, for helping us to hold our heads up high as we walk through these worrying times. Thank you to Oscar and Hammerstein for words and music which have been used to inspire so many over the years through difficult days. And thank you, St. Thomas, for reminding us all that we are human, all with our doubts and uncertainties, but most of all, for reminding us that we have a God who loves us and is there to hold us in all our frailty. A God who is always there beside us, ensuring that no matter how heavy the storm, how overwhelming the darkness, that we never, ever, ever, ever truly walk alone.